I want to talk about, I guess we considered energetic imprints. I might have called them energy signatures before, but I just looked it up and I think this is energetic imprints. Really, the meaning of it is a limited belief stored in our energy field, but with trapped emotions around that limited belief. And so I had a really vivid experience with this the other day. So I'm going to unpack it and share with you because I feel like this is a really juicy awareness for people, especially energy sensitives, to be aware of how it's just another facet of healing, to be able to be aware when energies hit you, you can understand how to move through it versus just like, what's going on? That's been one of the biggest healing points for me, is to be able to name like an energy experience for me, being able to talk about it and express it and see it as it is, to uncover it, to expose it and understand it on some level. So the next time I go through it, I can move through it with more grace and ease. I can move through it without it consuming and taking me over. Just knowing it's what it does, seeing the patterns in it are very helpful. And I know a lot of you have said that hearing these little blips help you as well. So, let's do this. Everything is energy. So the more we can understand it and process it and work through it, the better off we're gonna be. So I had a really good day, and my brother called me and I talked to him. And right off the bat, I could tell he had a certain energy signature. Now that by that, I mean a certain feeling and vibe of energy. And I was familiar with it because my brother, one of my brothers and I have experienced it together several times. And so he was kind of cocky, trying to be humorous, kind of dark, cocky energy, a little sarcastic, and kind of like a little rude, really harsh. And before this experience, I handled it and I probably poked him and would say things, but this time I just witnessed it. And so I saw this in him and I was like, well, that's very interesting, because I talked to him a few days before and there was none of that. So I was like, okay, this is an experience that I'm just going to be open to learning. And so we did our talk, and the energy continued a little bit and whatnot, and then we ended the call. And then all of a sudden, like, my energy had changed. Like, before I was happy when I talked to him, and then so it was like the energy signature he was putting off clicked something in me. Now, at first I was like, did I just take on his mood? Did I take on his energy? Because I've been working on not doing that. And I didn't really think I did, because I wasn't engaging in the energy he was putting out. I was just listening, and I was just like, whatever, that's where he's at. But when I got off the phone, that's when it started, coming in, a little bit of doubt, a little bit of frustration. I was like, well, what's going on here? And I just paid attention to how the energy was. So it felt like repressed emotion. So I was like angry. So I listened to some angry music that kind of coincided with the energy that my brother was throwing off. So I was allowing that emotional energy to be connected and channeled into the music. And I was rocking out to that, listening to that, and just really, again, being observant of it, trying to figure out what kind of experience I was going through. And so, I just kept working through it, doing my best to not, get really upset about it. And so then finally I moved some energy and I just let it go, and I was like, whatever it is. And then in my morning meditation the next day, I got a huge download of what it was. And it was this repressed subconscious belief that I had with my brother when we were children. So I was 4 years old when my brother was born. I was really excited for him to be born until he was actually born. And then, you know, babies need extra attention. And so everybody gave him more attention. And, you know, as a kid who was 4 years old, the only child, and then a bunch of, you know, family members were doting on me, and then all of a sudden they were focusing on him. That was a hit, you know, as a child. And so I got a flash of this belief that he was the problem. He was the source of all my problems and my irritations and my aggravations. And so I took my aggravations out on him as a child. And I feel like it fell away more when we got older and we didn't live together. But that was an old, repressed, limiting belief and emotion that was there. I was like, oh shoot, I did. I really, growing up, when I was irritated or frustrated or not being able to handle what was going on around me, I would poke my brother. I would be rude and sarcastic, and, you know, I was a bit, you know, the ego was coming out, and I was, you know, being a little shit. And so that was the exact feeling of energy that I got from my brother when I talked to him the day before. So I was getting that energy back from a limiting belief that I had from him. So that was huge insight. And so that was eye-opening to witness that, because he literally handed me some of that energy signature that I continually had alive in my auric field for him, that I hadn't healed, that I was letting, you know, probably, you know, affect our relationship in some way, because, you know, I noticed that he would get that energy sometimes, and I was just like, you know, almost teetering on rude and obnoxious in a way that I wasn't very fond of. And I was just like, what gives? And then when that memory popped up and I just got flashbacks of when I was a kid, and I get frustrated and irritated, and I just poke and prod at him and be rude to him and blame him for situations, I was like, oh man, I was taken back. I was like, wow, that's powerful. And I could actually witness it and not be mad about it or sad or irritated about it. And there's been times when this limiting belief has kind of touched the surface with me about him, but never full on bloomed and opened up like this with him. So I was just like so grateful to have that awareness and to open that up. And I'm like, well, of course I can set that free now. He's not the source of my problems. I don't need to take anything out on him. It's not his fault. I understand the situation. I love my brother. I want to have a good relationship with him. I would like to clear this energetic imprint in my auric field surrounding our connection. And so I felt really good about being able to see what was underneath there. But before I got to that part, the energy was harsh, and I did not even recognize it as my own till I had that vision in my meditation of being that child, and then witnessing those experiences of me giving him those exact feelings and emotions. This work is powerful. So I've just opened this up for you to be aware next time when you're connecting with people and a certain energy comes at you and it, you know, doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like yours, and you don't really necessarily know what to do with it. There's probably some kind of limiting belief under there. Granted, assuming you're not taking on somebody else's emotions. But oftentimes I find too, even in that situation when we take on somebody's emotions, it calls up an experience or an energy of our own to be healed. So I open this discussion up to shed light on these experiences so we can give it some space and witness it coming at us, so we can unpack it and not get lost in the emotions of it. It's so easy to get lost in the emotions of it. So easy. Once you dip your foot in and you get carried away on the river of emotions, you know, it needs to be felt out before, ouch, before it's, ow, cat poked me, before it's completely felt and healed. So just feel into that, witness that, see the emotions, and ask yourself, is this a familiar feeling to me? Have I witnessed this for myself? Have I given it off to somebody else? And could there be a limited belief or limited situation that happened somewhere in your life where you can peel it open, take a look at it, and heal it? Just the awareness of having that connection with the emotional energy and then witnessing myself as a child, that was enough to heal that energy. I had a little cry. I was just very grateful to witness it. And I feel like that was the part of where I was like taking all that experience that I got from my brother, and then the insight in my meditation, and then being able to bring it full circle and to cry it out. So that's my lesson to share with you guys. So pay attention to those energies that come at you. You never know what kind of limiting belief or energetic imprint can be hidden in your auric field for you to heal. But if you're not aware of what's going on and you get caught up in it, you might miss the opportunity to do it. Granted, the opportunity will keep coming up till it's healed. But, you know, the sooner you can heal it, the more that energy is going to be released to create something else. So why not do it as soon as you can? Be aware of it. All right, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for showing up to receive the message. Love and laughter. Aho.